Today's video is my transfer plans video, a series I'm going to run throughout the whole season where we look at last week's FPL score and plan transfers ahead for the next FPL deadline. We're also going to react to some news and hot topics in the FPL space. So let's jump straight into it. Welcome to the first transfer plans video of the season. This is a series I'm going to run throughout the entire 24-25 FPL season where we look at last week's game week score, react to some news and hot topics in the FPL space, as well as plan transfers ahead for the next FPL deadline. But just before I get stuck into the Game Week 1 review, I want to say a huge thank you for all of the support I've been getting recently, especially that pre-season period. It's been amazing for my subscriber count, my viewers, and everything to do with my FPL Mugs YouTube channel, so really do appreciate it. The goal this year is to hit 250 subscribers by the end of the season. We're really close to 200 as it is now. Obviously, you'll see above my head the goal there. But yeah, if you do want to consider subscribing to the FPL Mugs YouTube channel, it would be so greatly appreciated to contribute to that goal above my head. But let's look at how we did in Game Week 1. So, Game Week 1, 78 points, of course, using Fantasy Football Hub's live rank tool. Really good tool. I kind of was using another tool last season, but this tool has really improved. And look, you got some great features on this website. 50% off right now if you use my code in the description. Go and check that out if you want to get better at FPL. But yeah, Henderson starting us off with 2 points wasn't too great. Also, Yao Pedro and Nkunku, Hudson-Odoi, players like that all tend not to get too many points and blanking out. You had Salah, standout performer, goal and assist. I do believe he had all 3 bonus points. Trent and Jota both getting 8 as well as Haaland popping himself in with 7 points. Overall, with the squad, I think I'm pretty happy with how I did. Obviously, if you look at the rank here, 410,000th in the world isn't too bad going, but obviously it is just Game Week 1, so we can't get ahead of ourselves. But yeah, decent start, and I think I've left myself in a kind of nice position to go into Game Week 2 and really attack the next set of fixtures. Obviously, Haaland with Ipswich at home next, and we'll discuss sort of the transfer plans more towards the end of the video after our news and hot topics. But yeah, sort of a team review. Yeah, this is kind of what I expected to happen. Obviously, the Arsenal assets hitting and obviously not owning them does hurt quite a lot, but you know, I'm banking on Arsenal not doing so well in the next sort of 4 to 5 game weeks up until they play City, really. Wildcard game week 6 to sort of bring those boys in, but yeah, I've kind of got no plans to bring them in anytime soon. I'm just hoping that doesn't bite me in the arse. But we'll have a look at the transfer plans more towards the end and see kind of what I'm thinking about my team going forward. This section of the video is just the hot topics and news in the FPL space. So let's get stuck in. What to do with Nkunku. So Nkunku's a really hot topic in FPL space at the moment. Obviously coming off in the 58th minute for Pedro Neto. Pedro Neto coming on that left-hand side. Sort of my opinion on Nkunku, because obviously I'm an Nkunku owner myself. You've seen on the last screen. Yeah, I haven't picked him just to play City. I think that's the important thing to think about. You know, it's one game week. I didn't pick him in particular to play against City, although I did think he would maybe have a slightly better game. Yeah, I didn't pick him to play City. I picked him for the next group of fixtures, which in my opinion are really good for the next 5 to 6 game weeks. So yeah, there's not really an issue there in my eyes. The issue comes if in game week 2, you know, then he starts to lose a few more minutes, and it's kind of, well, where do we go from here with this Chelsea team? You know, a lot of players sort of coming in and yeah, where do you fit them all? Obviously, news that João Felix is going to be signing. There was talks with Victor Osimhen. Lukaku's going, so maybe that brings Osimhen in up top. Where does that leave Nkunku, Jackson, and players like that? I really don't know. So I guess that's sort of an issue with this side of Chelsea rather than Nkunku. But hopefully in Game Week 2 we really see maybe, you know, an 80, 75 minutes from Nkunku, so he's, you know, build them back up to that kind of match fitness for Chelsea. But yeah, kind of disappointing first game, but for me, I would definitely hold. Quansah off at halftime. This was a kind of interesting one. I think it was more of a tactical decision rather than Quansah being injured or anything like that. Kanate came on. I think they were missing sort of something physical with their side, I believe someone mentioned. So yeah, maybe that's a reason why you bring Kanate on, but it is disappointing for Quansah owners who started him alongside Trent, or even just by himself to cover that Liverpool defence, and then coming off at half-time, as well as Liverpool, getting that clean sheet. It is going to be heartbreaking. So where do you go with Quansah? That's another question, of course, we could answer. For me, 4.5, the obvious option is Robinson. Straight to Robinson for 4.5. Robinson's good fixtures. It makes sense in my head, but obviously a lot of people already do have Robinson in their sides. I suppose we'll cover another 4.5 and Hall a bit later in this list, so that could be another one you consider. Quickly speaking on Trent, a defensive partner alongside Quansah. Expected exactly one expected assist, but not getting any attack and returns in the game. Again, a disappointing thing to be watching, especially if you watch the game. You'll see how close people came. Of course, Jota had that really close header. That was, the Trent assist. And, it is disappointing. However, showing good numbers, it is promising for the future game weeks. And hopefully next week against Brentford, this kind of trend can continue with Trent really being a creative mastermind as he always is, and kind of tucking in and playing those sort of balls. But yeah, I really like Trent. Expected one assist. Really, really nice. Eze's disallowed goal, of course, if you didn't see, referee blew his whistle as kind of the ball was moving. It went in. Eze thought he scored. Disallowed goal. You can't do anything about it because the fact that, the referees blew his whistle, players are just going to stop playing. Disallowed goal. It's kind of disappointing that Eze hasn't came away from that match with a return. I suppose you could say the same with Bruno Fernandes, who I haven't included on this sheet, but against Fulham, was unlucky to not even get an attack and return after playing really good as well. So yeah, I suppose you could say Eze and Bruno Fernandes, kind of disappointing not to be coming away from that match with something if you own those two players. The Newcastle Red secures Burn and Hall's minutes. Now this could go one of two ways for me. For me, I can see that Burn goes centre-back, Hall stays left-back. Happy days, everyone's great. Apart from Shah owners. If you own Shah, comment down below, because that must be absolutely devastating to receive a red card in the first game week. But for me, obviously, that means Burn should be, solid at that centre-back position, and Hall solid at that left-back position. But, Newcastle have Kelly, who could come in at left-back as well, because Hall apparently didn't have the best game. I didn't have a chance to catch any of the highlights in particular, apart from the red card, but apparently Hall didn't have the best game for Newcastle. I will ask my Newcastle friends about that one. But yeah, I think it secures the minutes a little bit more if, Howe does have faith in Burn and Hall, which I think he will do. Trust in Hall in pre-season matches as well as the first game week of the Premier League season is nice to see. So I guess we'll see what happens on that front. But at 4.5, there are some other good options to move from Hall if we do need to move. And of course, Burn, I believe, is 4.5 as well. So yeah, for me, I think it secures Burn and Hall a little bit more. But we'll move on to the next point. This is more of a Brighton point. Matoma with amazing XG and sort of Minter's injury. Matoma looked really impressive for Brighton. Of course, Brighton just looked impressive as well. Maybe it was the fact that Everton were just really bad, but I think Brighton were actually particularly good on the day. Minter kind of had a concussion scare type thing. Came off, was kind of reluctant and wanted to come back on, but was, not able to continue. Adingra came on that right-hand side. So yeah, if you own someone like Minter, I don't think it's, necessary to really take him out unless we get future news. I think he'll be completely fine. I do think we've got some quote somewhere that he should be okay as well. So yeah, I think you're okay if you own Minter. Arsenal, City, Liverpool defence are all decent. I think that's something we kind of expected, but Arsenal defence looking really, really strong. City was kind of struggling to get out of second gear in my opinion, but I think City's defence will be very strong, of course, dealing with the Chelsea side with a lot of star potential. Obviously, Chelsea didn't really get going in that game, but yeah, I think City defence is going to be quite good this season. Liverpool defence as well, clean sheet in their first fixture. Obviously, the first half wasn't too good, and Ipswich did have a few chances here and there, but yeah, I think all those defences are pretty solid to be picking from when they have good fixtures and other things like that. So yeah, awesome. Kind of last night's fixture was Spurs and Leicester. Very Spurs result, 1-1 against Leicester. They looked a really, attacking and great side, Spurs. So no real changes to the style of play, high line and things like that. PORRO obviously getting the goal, which was absolutely fantastic. PORRO went off with a small kind of knock/injury. We don't know literally anything more than that at this point now of recording. If we do find out, obviously I will be posting that on Twitter, on TikTok and things like that. So perfect timing. Actually, you can go follow my socials if you want to be updated with the latest FPL news and such. So yeah, no info on the PORRO injury sadly for you guys, but Solanke did play at 90 minutes, which I thought was really, really, really good news for Solanke owners. I'm not a Solanke owner, and I'm kind of really, really scared of Solanke this season now. His sort of XG, I believe, was around 0.3, 0.28-ish. I really can't remember the number. I should have wrote it down for you guys, but kind of the eye test that I got from the game in terms of expected goals, I think there was a lot of, maybe first game nerves for Solanke. There was a chance in the box where he rolled it across his body onto a strong foot, and he just really hit it as hard as he could because he thought, this is my chance to impress. Bang! When, you've seen Solanke before, roll it onto that strong foot and kind of place it nicely in the corner for Bournemouth. Whereas this kind of first game, I think that kind of chance really, maybe he should have been putting away, but I think first game nerves were maybe to blame. But yeah, that's sort of the hot topics and news in the FPL space at the moment. If I've missed any, drop them in the comments and I will reply to all your comments. As you know, I love to talk to you guys in the comments and on all of my social media posts. So yeah, don't be afraid to message your questions or DM me. I'm open all the time. But yeah, that was the news and hot topics. Let's look at the transfer plans for game week 2 now. Right, let's look at my transfer plans for game week 2 onwards. I can tell you straight away that I am planning to bank this week's transfer. It has been recommended by Fantasy Football Hub to bank my transfer this week. They said if I really want to sell Nkunku, which we kind of spoke about in today's video, that I could move to an Eze. However, I'm completely happy owning Christopher Nkunku for the coming game weeks. Obviously, you can see here, I think the fixtures are completely fine. As long as he gets his minutes in game week 2, I can see myself holding him for many, many weeks. Obviously, we know no news about Pedro Porro at the moment. Obviously, Everton at home will be a good fixture for Spurs because I think Everton, injuries, how they played against Brighton, Spurs look like they were okay attacking last night against Leicester. Obviously, had a very Spurs game where, you concede a goal and it's a 1-1 draw where maybe really shouldn't have been, and Spurs should have had more control over the game. But I think against an Everton side, Pedro Porro could come away with a clean sheet and could, obviously get attack and returns like he did against Leicester. So, yeah, there's a lot of, potential in keeping Pedro Porro. But if he is injured, I have 0.5 in the bank that I saved on purpose for situations like this in game week 2. I can move to a Guardiol. And I think Guardiol, with that sort of Ipswich at home fixture and onwards, sort of into the next 2 weeks before he hits that Arsenal fixture, really solid option. Really, really solid option. Of course, playing a little bit more defensively than the end of last season. I think we all kind of know that now. For me, sort of the alternative option, which is a lot shorter term, is going for someone like a Rico Lewis. City side, same team obviously as Guardiol, same fixture, Ipswich at home. There was some really advanced positions for Rico Lewis in that sort of fixture he played against Chelsea. So I don't know. I really don't know. I think it's a really good punt for just one game week. If you're looking more over the next few game weeks, I think I could go to a Guardiol if Pedro Porro is injured. I wouldn't mind holding Pedro Porro if he is fit for that Everton home fixture. So for me, it looks like I'm going to bank my transfer. If we're sort of unsure about Pedro Porro, I could just go from Hall up to someone else like a Munez. Cash, I'm kind of being recommended by the AI here, so look, for me, I'm going to bank the transfer unless something happens to Pedro Porro, because it's so easy to do that move. And to be honest, my team for the weeks after, if we just have a quick flick through, sort of looking really strong. Obviously, Haaland and Salah each single week. I can pick the best captain, I think, between those two and sort of go between Isak as well, if Isak has good fixtures. For the next few weeks, that's a solid team if I bring in Guardiol. So yeah, there's a real option there that I bring in Guardiol for 6 million. But yeah, I'm kind of banking on banking the transfer. So yeah, that's sort of what my transfer plans are for game week 2 onwards. Just to outro the video there, I want to say a huge thank you if you're watching to this point now. That should mean you've enjoyed today's video and want to be a subscriber to this channel. So please drop a subscribe on the channel. The goal is 250 subs by the end of the season. We've made amazing progress over pre-season, so let's try continue that momentum into the new Premier League season. But that is absolutely everything for today's video. Thank you so much for watching again, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye for now.